Imagine you're at a party, and you meet someone who shares your obsession with 80s music and your disdain for pineapple on pizza. Chances are, you'd want to talk to them all night. This phenomenon isn't just about having a good time at social gatherings, it has significant implications in professional settings as well. Welcome to the world of the similarity attraction hypothesis, where the idea is that we are naturally drawn to people who are like us.
The relationship between similarity and attraction, that is, similarity often leads to attraction, raises more questions than it answers. Most importantly, what are the foundations of the relationship? In other words, how exactly does similarity lead to attraction? Well,
as strange as it sounds, multiple studies have shown that we find people who look like us more attractive. And it might be because, like the rest of the animal kingdom, we're just trying to pass along our genes. People often choose partners that are similar to them in everything from personality to age to education level, which isn't too surprising. These are all examples of assortative mating, our tendency to select our life partners with an eye for certain traits and characteristics. Those other traits we select for, like personality and education level, are usually more important for stable relationships than whether or not you get confused for cousins all the time. Physical similarity just seems to be another factor we consider before deciding to swipe right on Tinder.
Similarity reinforces one's worldview, especially on domains such as political views and intelligence levels, thereby showing that the other person agrees with you, which leads to more positive emotions and affections. Alternatively, the attraction arising from similarity could be an element of the knowledge one has of the other. Otherwise put, the more information one has about the other person, the more likely they are to trust them.
Liking someone with the same interests and experiences makes sense, but research suggests we prefer people who look like us too. For example, one study published in 2013 in PLOS One showed that subjects found their partner's face more attractive after it was digitally mixed with their own. 20 heterosexual couples were asked to look at photos of 7 versions of their partner's face. Each version was blended with another face, some male, some female, some average-looking, and some really attractive. Most importantly, one of the versions mixed the partner's face with the subject's face, although the subject didn't know it. And as a control, one of the versions combined mirrored versions of the partner's face. So it was all the same person, but the image looked digitally altered just like the rest of them and didn't stand out. When the subjects were asked to rank the photos from most to least attractive, they liked the version that was blended with their own face the most. They liked it even more than the control, which was made up of just their partner's face. It might seem weird to want to date someone who looks like you. Sure, we tend to prefer things that we've seen before, and there's nothing more familiar than the person in the mirror. The researchers also did a second experiment. They digitally combined different amounts of the subject's face with their partner's face, and they found that adding too much or too little of the subject's face made that version of their partner seem less attractive. It was that middle amount of similarity, about 22%, that made their partner appear more attractive than normal.
People often look at themselves favorably, with very few people actually living in self-condemnation. People viewing themselves favorably means they're also more likely to view others with traits similar to theirs favorably. This alternative explanation for attraction arising from similarity borders more on the effect familiarity has on attraction. Basically, the more familiar you are with a person, the more comfortable you are with them, and the more likely you are to be attracted to them.
So you'd think we'd have evolved to not be attracted to people who look like us. But some research suggests that we're attracted to people who look like us because we are actually looking for some genetic similarity in our partners. A 2014 study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences compared the genetic data for 862 older married couples and found that the married couples were more genetically similar than random non-married pairs. In fact, the more genetically similar two of the subjects were, the more likely they were to be married. Now that definitely doesn't mean having similar genes automatically means you're going to get married, but the fact that scientists saw that relationship is still pretty strange. There seems to be a happy medium when it comes to genetics, though. You might find someone especially attractive when they have some genetic similarity, but not too much. Research in both animal and human populations has found that picking a partner with some genetic similarity is related to more stable partnerships, more children, and greater altruism among family members. Evolutionary theory says we're always trying to pass along our genes by raising our kids until they're old enough to start their own families. And a partner that shares more of your genes has extra motivation to do that too. Plus, partners with similar genetics often share other characteristics, like personality, which can make for a more stable relationship. So from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes some sense to select a partner who looks like you. But we've also learned that too much similarity can increase our odds of passing along dangerous recessive traits or other developmental problems. Plus, it's just plain creepy. So, for a safe, genetically similar, non-creepy middle ground, we find people who look like us.
Now you might be thinking, isn't this just common sense? Well, yes and no. While it's intuitive to feel more comfortable around people who are like us, the systematic review of empirical studies provides a scientific backbone to this intuition. These studies delve into various dimensions of similarity: age, gender, personality traits, and even values. One interesting study highlighted in the review explored the impact of personality similarity on team performance. Teams with similar personality traits, particularly conscientiousness and extroversion, showed higher levels of cohesion and productivity. So, next time you're forming a project team, maybe consider more than just the technical skills. Think about personality fit too.